Once again, we are back on Egmont Sochki Tea Talk Train of Thoughts. In fact, in each and every episode, we try and invite the leaders, the entrepreneurs, the young achiever on this platform to share their experience and to draw in meaningful learning as per the target audience which are concerned. And today's episode, mostly we'll be talking in terms of an IT and cyber security industry which is there. Today we have got with us the expert Mr. Pankit Desai, who is a co-founder and CEO within SEQURETEK. So welcome to Tea Talk Egmont Sochki.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thanks a lot for spending your valuable time.
Thank you.
He's a co-founder and CEO with SEQURETEK and veteran of an IT industry, over 25 years of an experience, over a decade in a global management role. And the basic responsibility of Mr. Pankit Desai has been into the business development, fundraising, and the operation. And prior to SEQURETEK, he was there with Rolta India, driving the sales of IT and IP business globally. And more than a decade in USA, our role basically was into the global sales operations and the management across the companies such as NTT Data and Wipro Tech. At SEQURETEK, in a short period of an time, the team is proud of an growth like CAGR of 50% over 5 years. Congratulations, it's an excellent growth, which your team and putting in efforts And the product offering that have been found dishonest with greater than 100 customers across the industry segment. And the success of the company got further boost with a recent round of funding from JBFL Unicorn Venture, and various awards has been won by SEQURETEK. Sir, welcome back again to Egmont Sochki Tea Talk, and it's an excellent journey what we could see, an excellent profile of yours. Now, in fact, for our Tea Talk audience, can you share your turning point of your career, or maybe from the education till the first job?
Yes, I come from a typical Indian middle class family. My father is a government servant, was rather a retired government servant. My mom, school teacher. We come from Ahmedabad, so not the metros of that point of time of India. Convent school, so the typical middle class ethos: study well, get a good job, and get yourself settled in life. Right? That's how we had all been raised, and I'm so proud of the fact that my parents made sure that for whatever limited means that they had, they ensured that both my sister and I get the best possible education. So they put us in the best schools. I distinctly remember my father spending inordinate amount of time every day after school when I used to come home, making sure that I, of course, English is not our first language, right? So we speak Gujarati at home. He made sure that I could, do my homework, study well. I was a reasonably good kid from a studies perspective, so he made sure that I got all the opportunities. And the biggest thing was that, unlike a typical Indian parent, he never pushed me to go to fields and choices that he would have liked to do. So for most part of my life, I remember that whatever I did, he just backed me. As an example, he would have preferred that I would have stayed back in Ahmedabad and studied my engineering. I wanted to go out and study. I wanted to do a field that was not known. I did instrumentation control. So I went to Bhavnagar, more expensive for him, a newer field. He never said no. He actually wanted me to be a doctor. I didn't want to be a doctor, and he just backed me for most of that part, right? So I personally believe that not only did he make sure that the right values and ethos were transferred, but he also empowered me with the confidence, because he let me make my own mistakes, but he was always there to back me. And so both my parents made sure that I had the right upbringing and the right start to my professional life, if I may.
I see. Many times what we have seen, at the initial stage, parents, they are so concerned about child's future. They interfere. No, you want to this, you should do this, you should do that. But fortunately, I think your parents have supported you in terms of what initiative you need to take.
They did, and both, not for me, but even for my sister. So it's not that it was just the typical male child support. I mean, in fact, I always felt that we had two different parents. My sister got everything that she could ask for, she would have gotten. But they were amazing. They still are around, thankfully, and I've been blessed to have them in my life.
Good, great. And we have seen like your exposure and the experience into an IT industry. Why only the field of an IT industry which attract you the most?
It was just happen chance. So I did my engineering and then I did my MBA. One thing that as part of the MBA, I did a summer project, I remember, in a industrial rubber company. And they were a B2B company, and as part of it I got to travel south of India. So I for 3.5 months I did Mumbai, Pune, Hyderabad, Belgaum, Chennai, Bangalore, and I just got enamored by the fact that in sales you can travel. You can meet people, and where I was doing the project, I still remember, he gave me some cash, 7,000-8,000 rupees, and said go figure. So I took ST buses, the luxury buses, trains. So that's all I could afford. I would land up in an unknown city, find a hotel room next to the station, find a place to go and sell. But that I think I felt that I am geared towards a sales career, and I'm not a consumer salesperson. I'm more a B2B. So when the placement seasons happen in the college, of the choices that came, there were two choices that where I found myself in. One was Mastech, and second one was CMC, and CMC was then in Ahmedabad. The job offer was in Ahmedabad, and I had heard a lot about the company. They were the number one tech brand at that point of time. So I said, okay, like those are government company, it was a public sector company, but it had an amazing brand equity in the market. So I said, okay, let me try my hand at CMC in a B2B space. And today, whatever I am, the basic thought process, structure, and understanding of tech that I have, it is because of CMC. They made sure that not only did I understand my selling process well, but they made sure that I understood the technical aspect, because if you're in the tech sales, technology is an essential aspect of what you're selling. So you've got to understand that, and without that you won't be able to succeed, because it's a process of consultative selling.
So आपकी एक बहुत सोच की like CMC से शुरू हुई, जहाँ पे actually में you got a base foundation pretty strong as far as IT which is concerned, like.
सही में. I had an amazing boss. I still fondly remember him, A.V. Virkar, an ex-IBMer who was with CMC, और बहुत कुछ सीखा जिंदगी में उनसे, बहुत कुछ सीखा.
Now, in fact, have you made any blueprint of your career in the direction or the goal or the aim, like initially, like कभी भी ऐसा blueprint आपने कुछ?
नहीं, it would be wrong to say कि कुछ बनाया था ऐसे. But एक aspiration था कि आज जहाँ पे है, कल उससे थोड़ा बेहतर रहना चाहिए. So whatever it is, I wanted to make sure that I will continue to grow, and I don't want to be stuck at one place. I have had the fortune of working across cities, across jobs. So I started my career in Ahmedabad, then went to Delhi, then went to Mumbai, then to Bangalore, then to Chennai, and to Chicago, Phoenix, San Diego, New Jersey, and back in Mumbai. So I was never happy settling down into one steady rut. मुझे वो जिंदगी नहीं चाहिए.
Many times people are stuck of a comfort zone, like, you know.
हाँ ठीक है, if that's what they want, that's what they want. But मुझे वो नहीं चाहिए था. ऐसा नहीं कि मैंने नौकरी के लिए जगह छोड़ी. मैंने उस नौकरी में, that place that I was working, also I looked for a change. I was happy changing. I was never wedded to one specific role, office structure. I was happy trying out stuff that people were not happy wanting to do. I would raise my hand up, and I felt that was the only way I will grow as a human being.
Correct.
That's what I was looking for.
I think you have taken your own initiative, like, you know, of taking the first mover advantage of whatever opportunities comes your way, like.
Exactly. I always felt that, so I though I was a good student, I was never good enough to be in an IIT. I'll be the first to acknowledge it. So somehow you have to compensate that, right? So somehow, I was not that typical blue blood जो बनता है ना कि भाई वो pedigree है, education है कि आपको सब चीज मिलती है, तो लड़ना पड़ता है.
Correct.
And if you get an opportunity, then grab it with both hands.
Correct.
Not everything has worked out, but it's okay. You try.
Correct. And while being in school, you were very focused that you want to do engineering only.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to do was I didn't want to be a doctor. बस I sucked at biology. मुझे बायो पसंद नहीं थी बिल्कुल.
Okay.
मुझे समझ में नहीं आती थी, और बहुत मुझे वो देख के बहुत रट्टा मारना पड़ता था. I couldn't for the life of me memorize stuff.
Okay.
So shortcut was always math. I was good at math because math you don't have to remember. I was math, physics. I was
Even
good
numbers
at.
and all.
वो numbers है वो तो समझ में आती है. You know a few formulas, you can crack it.
Correct.
And it was analytical in nature, right? So that worked. That worked in my types of learning that I had. And generally, I'm a people person, so that plus sales kind of ended up being the natural career for me.
And once you pick up your bag and move out for sales, I'm sure like sales करने वाला बंदा कहाँ भी like अपना मुकाम बना लेता है.
बना
Yes.
Yes.
It's very interesting. I think once we were doing a research, like we came to know about Mr. Anand Naik and yourself. You came together. तो बचपन की दोस्ती से ही कैसा आप?
He's my brother-in-law. My sister is married to him.
Okay.
But beyond that, we worked together. We were colleagues in IBM, so we know each other from '98. So 25 साल करीब साथ में सफर रहा है.
Okay.
And he also has an amazing career in corporate world. He also comes from a middle class family. His father was a banker, mother a housewife, and again a normal middle class education. Started his career in Bradmar, then went to Siemens, then to IBM, then Sun, IBM, Symantec. And in Symantec is where the first big exposure for him in security happened. And he did very well in Symantec. 8 साल शायद वो Symantec में रहे थे. And then the last few years he was the CEO for Symantec South Asia. So starting from a very starting position in corporate career, he climbed the ranks to head Symantec South Asia, which is very credible. And we would keep talking कि भाई ये बहुत साल लोगों के लिए नौकरी कर लिया, कुछ करना चाहिए. So there is a point in time in your career where you feel that you've done what you could have potentially done in the corporate world.
Correct.
Maybe there is a time for change, and kind of for both of us it came around the same time. And therefore, and because his background was SEQURETEK became a natural choice.
I see. So I think since basic understanding of two of you was pretty strong and had a qualification work with top organizations and now the synergy with SEQURETEK it goes very well
Yes, it does. Yes. And we bring complementary skill set. He is a hardcore technologist. He understands technology very well. So he's worked with large companies in building technologies, implementing technologies. I have never built technology. I can sell it. So together we can complement. So there are traits that we bring to table that kind of makes us together as whole.
Correct. Then it be a good synergy as well.
Yes.
Good, great. And can you describe some of the challenges you have faced in career milestone in a nutshell?
So, I've been very blessed to have good bosses all through my career. So, the typical challenges of corporate world I did not face. So, it will be wrong for me to say I had a tough corporate life. Actually, I had a very good corporate life. There was no reason for me to ever live a corporate life. All the jobs that I had, so I worked in CMC, then IBM, then Wipro, IntelliGroup, which then we sold to NTT, and then rolled across all that stints. I had an amazing experience, great colleagues, great friends. I think there was hardly a year or two where I probably would not have done well. But otherwise, I always bet my numbers did well. So that was never a challenge. It's just that at a point I felt that So I had a chance to work with two great entrepreneurs. One was Mr. Azim Premji. He was Wipro chairman, CEO, and I was a very junior salesperson. But the great part about Mr. Premji is that whenever he travels for work, whichever city he goes, he expects the local salesperson to be his shopper, right? He will want you to take him around.
Nice.
And so all your sales meetings, you are the one picking up from one place to the meeting and dropping off to the other place. So you get that few hours
to be with him and a word of wisdom from him.
Exactly. And I felt that what an amazing person. The guy at that point of time was worth $6-8 billion. I was probably worth more. Very down to earth, not an aura or an air around him. He will pick his own bag, never expect you to do anything. Very approachable. And gets you to feel that even nice guys can win in the corporate world. It need not be a cutthroat, nasty business for you to do well in corporate world. I mean, if you look at most Western CEOs,
Correct.
they are brash.
Correct,
Right?
correct.
They are in your face.
Correct.
This guy was always
Very cool.
yeah, he was in the back. He never wanted limelight. He never took limelight.
Nice.
I remember my first meeting ever, sales meeting that I'd taken along with him. It was as the president of Sony, North America, and the guy. This was early days of outsourcing. They had not seen too many of Indians out there, and I remember still meeting that meeting. He looks at the president and then he points his hands to me and says, India of today is being built by youngsters like him. I was hardly about 30.
Nice.
Right? So he would give credit. He would never wanted credit. He never said about his wealth. That to me was an amazing experience. And then I had a chance to work with KK Singh at Rolta. A very different personality than Mr. Premji, but an amazing risk taker.
Yeah.
Between the two, I felt that it is probably time for me to now look for a different alternative. I've seen both sides.
Both sides of that.
Might be step out. So no problem in corporate life.
Correct.
Let me just put it out there.
Correct.
So
I think it's an excellent conversation what we're having with Mr. Pankit Desai, co-founder and CEO of SEQURETEK. Self-driven and is very focused what he wanted to do and always supported by the family, and there was no interference from the family as such. And if you're self-driven, if you're more focused, I'm sure you can make your way as far as the corporate world which is concerned. And fortunately he got in good bosses, and where he made the best utilizations of whatever the opportunity what Mr. Pankit Desai got. I think it's an interesting episode, series of an interesting episode what we are having with Mr. Pankit Desai, co-founder and CEO of SEQURETEK. Please stay tuned to Tea Talk Ek Bund Soch Ki and catch up with Mr. Pankit Desai in our next episode. We'll take his journey and the experience as far as the Rolta India is concerned, and also talking in terms of how we had scaled up the business as far as SEQURETEK business which is concerned into an cybersecurity space. So thank you very much for being part of this first episode of a Tea Talk. Basically about an IT and security industry as such. Thank you very much.
thank you very much.
Thanks.